Hey everyone, Dan here. I want to continue on with our what I consider to be more about more than motivation. It's more or less how to keep you focused while you're painting and really try to eliminate distractions and interruptions. And I just wanted to talk briefly about being an artist and kind of the mindset of getting into your studio and going to work and basically eliminate interruptions. By the nature of what we do, we don't have a normal time clock that we punch or a time schedule that we normally stick to. You know, as artists, we're kind of free-spirited. We kind of work when we want, do what we want kind of thing, which is cool. I think that's great. And I'm not really saying that you need to change that at all. But what I want you to realize is everyone else, for the most part, punches a clock and goes to work and has their regular routines that they follow. So when they look at us, they say, oh, well, he can just paint any time, right? So they think nothing of calling us in the middle of the day or dropping by our studio or our home and saying, hey, what's going on? I was just out, thought I'd drop by and see how you're doing, right? They don't understand that when you're in the throes of painting and really in the middle of something and someone knocks on the door or phones you or walks in to your studio, they really are interrupting a process that is not the easiest thing to get going, you know? What I'm saying to you on that is hopefully most of you will realize that and know this already. So my point is you really need to set boundaries with other people as well as with yourself. And really, normally it is you or me that are really ultimately the problem because we've never established boundaries for these people. So quite frankly, just as if it was your home and you weren't home and you're off at work, if someone drops by, don't answer the phone. Don't answer the door, and that's my segue to don't answer the phone either. If someone calls you, don't answer the phone. Set a timer or something like that and say, I'm going to work for 2 hours or 3 hours or however long. And then at that point, I'll check my messages. I'll check my email. I'll check to see who was at the door. Maybe they left a note, that kind of thing. And you will be so much more productive as soon as you set those boundaries. Because what it'll happen is two things. One, your friends and family and everyone like that will understand that you have set times for doing your work and they'll start to respect your boundaries, as well as you will respect your time schedules and your boundaries, and you will be a lot less likely to go out and paint for a while than go and goof off by doing whatever, watching TV, cleaning the house, whatever it is that you do that would distract you from painting. Because once you've established that other people can't interrupt you, you're going to be like, well, yeah, I can't let any other people interrupt me. I better not interrupt me either. And I think that is a really important mindset to develop. Quite frankly, it's not easy because you're flip-flopping from the way that you have always been. And I've gotten pretty good about this, about not allowing interruptions, but still, I mean, I have a long ways to go. But it's just something I really want you to think about and look at your schedule and look at your day and try to figure out what it is that is your biggest interruptions. And we talked about that last time, making a list of your interruptions. More importantly, also making a list of what it is that motivates you and gets you excited about painting and trying to develop some sort of a routine or a ritual that gets you from up in the morning, showered, breakfast, into the studio with as few of interruptions of steps as possible. I mean, in fact, the fewer the steps would be the better. But ever notice how like you are, like let's say that you were going to do something and you're looking for your car keys because you put them wherever and you don't know where you put them. Well, a lot of times you'll be looking for your car keys and you can't find them. But maybe in the process of looking for your car keys, you find something else. And you're like, oh, look at this bill here. I never paid that. So before you know it, you're sitting down with your checkbook and you're writing a check to pay this bill that you had forgotten about that you found, right? And that maybe leads you to, oh, I better check my balance on my account. So next thing you know, you're in front of the computer and you're checking your balance, and then up comes an email or an ad for something, and you're off looking at Groupon or something like that. And before you know it, you've spent 4 hours off distracted when all you were doing was looking for your car keys in the first place or something like that. So these are the kinds of distractions that you almost have to catch yourself and say, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to look for the keys. I'm not going to look for this thing. I'm going to go do my project. Now we're actually selecting lost keys was probably the worst example, because if you're looking for your keys, chances are you're trying to go somewhere anyway. But you get the idea. Maybe you were looking for a magazine that had a picture in it that you wanted to go and look at before you painted. Have your stuff prepared and laid out in advance. In fact, one of the best things you can do is to lay out all your stuff the night before when you're leaving your studio for the next day. And I find that was a real good thing for me too, is having everything just kind of laid out. And if you're one of those people that, okay, I'm completely motivated now, I'm come and I get in front of my canvas and I sit there and I can't make that first stroke, either because the white canvas is paralyzing me or the painting, it isn't looking as good as I wanted to, and I'm afraid to go forward because I've already got a feeling of dread with it, which I have a video about that, how you should just put it off or set a timer for 15 minutes. Or you're looking at a blank canvas or painting's going good and you don't want to ruin it. Here's what I found is a really good tip for that. Make a brush stroke. Just grab some paint and make a brush stroke. Now, if you are the kind of person that you have this happen to you habitually, because I think there's a lot of artists that do this, what you do is the night before you leave your studio, right, what you do is you mix a pile of paint that is for something that you're going to work on, preferably something not too intense. Like if you work in a portrait, for example, it'd be paint mixed for hair, or maybe paint mixed for background, something like that, not like for the eye or something where it's going to require a lot of intricacy. So then what you do is you have that little pile pre-mixed, and you go to bed. And then in the morning you get up, you have essentially established the first step to get you going. So all you do is literally pick up the brush, grab that paint, make a stroke. And you do that almost automatically. If you sit down, you do it as you sit down in your chair, or if you stand, you just grab it and you make a stroke. Even before you do anything else, I have found that if you make that very first brush stroke, it kind of breaks that pattern and gets us kind of back into the swing of everything. And you've made that one brush stroke and you found out that you lived through it. And you're like, oh, I lived through this. And by the way, that one brush stroke was kind of fun. I'm going to make some more. It's crazy weird how well that works. That is a really good thing for getting you back in front of the canvas and really getting going, which is, for me, that's my biggest stumbling block. I'm only addressing the things that I know are problems. If you have other problems, by gosh, send them in to me, let me know, and we'll figure out how to solve these things together. Like, and other people have problems with multitasking and parallel processing, where they just have a lot of different things going on at once. And when you're painting, unless you have severe ADD or something, and you need that, right? Because sometimes I need that when I paint. I need to have like a book on tape playing while I'm painting to kind of distract and quiet my mind. Otherwise, I have a tendency to get too critical when I'm painting. Sometimes these multitasking, parallel processing get in the way because it's too easy to switch gears and get off into another tangent. And what will end up happening too, even within our painting, we'll work on an eye, then we'll work on the background, then we'll work on the chin, then we'll work on the clothes, and then we're back to the eye again. Whereas it is much better to have small times of highly focused painting times, even if it's only like 15 minutes, and then have 15 minutes of less focused time. So in other words, you work on the eye for 15 minutes, right? And then a timer goes off, or somehow you just innately know that you need a break. And then you go work on the background or work on the clothing or something that's not as critical, isn't as demanding mentally. And then, timer goes off or you feel refreshed again, then you go back to the eye. But do go back to that same eye. Don't go over to the other eye or to the nose or something like that. Stick with that same area until you bring it to a high degree of resolve. I'm not sure what word I want there. Bring it to a high degree of finish, really, for that area, and then you move on to the next adjacent area. And believe it or not, having these areas that look really good are really motivating to keeping you going. Anyway, I just wanted to make sure that we were completely clear and we've completely beaten this dead horse to death so that you feel motivated and you get to your studio and you paint. And if you're having problems, you've done the course, you've signed up for the course, and you're not painting, I want you to email me so we can discuss it and figure out what it is, because if you're having issues with it, there's someone else out there that is too. And not only do I want to get you back on track and get you excited and get you doing all these paintings, I want to address it so we can help those other ones that maybe did not come forward. Let me know they're having issues. All right? Anyway, stay excited, paint some beautiful things, and remember, keep it fun, and it really is fun. Just got to search for it. Always look for the fun that you're having while you're painting. Don't focus in on the things that are dreary. If it's dreary and it's not going well, move on. Get some help. Ask someone else what they think. Send in your painting for the webinars and critiques, and we'll go talk about them, and I'll say, hey, here's all it's going to take to get you back on track. They don't have to be finished paintings in the webinar. It could be, hey, I'm stuck here. Let me know what to do. Anyway, thanks for sharing this time with me. You have a fantastic day.